no matter what argument we may be having, no matter what disagreement we're talking about.
For half a century, Dr. Phil and Robin McGraw looked like the unbeatable champions of daytime devotion. Every hug shared on camera, every loving tease, forged an image of perfect partnership that audiences trusted without a doubt. Now, right on the 50th year line, Dr. Phil drops a bombshell that cracks that glossy picture in one sharp blow. Did he really walk away from the woman viewers thought he would protect forever? The solution to that puzzle is not the tired story of cheating, ego, or withering romance. Hints of trouble have flickered in plain sight for years, from whispers about a forgotten first wife to a controversial icy operation that set social media ablaze. This saga is bigger than wedding bands and tabloid headlines. It is about legacy, reinvention, and a quiet limit that may have been crossed when no one was looking. Stay tuned as we scrape off the polish and expose the true reason the famous advice giver might have taken his own advice and left. Dr. Phil, early marriage shock. Long before the bright lights and studio applause, 20-year-old Philip Calvin McGraw tied the knot with Debbie Higgins, the lively Kansas cheerleader who stole his teenage heart. The year was 1970, and Phil was just a college athlete trying to figure out who he wanted to become. Their ceremony felt like a small-town dream, filled with hope and innocence. Yet the honeymoon phase was gasping by the third year. In 1973, divorce papers ended the short union, and Debbie faded from public memory while Phil pushed forward. Many years later, Debbie broke her silence in rare interviews, describing their marriage as strict and one-sided. She remembered a young husband who demanded control over how she dressed, moved, and even exercised. She said he would not let her lift weights or work outside their home, activities that made her feel strong. These stories clash loudly with the on-screen mentor, who teaches viewers to chase healthy boundaries. Dr. Phil never fought those claims head-on, choosing respectful quiet instead. The timeline reveals why that silence may matter. The wedding with Debbie took place long before his psychology doctorate, long before Oprah invited him to share expert takes in the 1990s, and decades before his own talk show premiere in 2002. At the time of their split, he was still a student juggling odd jobs and textbooks. Official bios mentioned Debbie only in passing, perhaps to shield private heartache or protect a branding story built on success instead of struggle. Still, that early breakup likely shaped the way he later coached couples about conflict and compromise. It proves that even household names start with raw human experiences that leave deep marks. A new partnership begins. What followed was not just another romance, but a partnership that rebuilt his identity piece by piece. The next chapter reads like destiny waiting in the wings. Meeting Robin. In the mid-1970s, Phil crossed paths with Robin Jo Jameson, a poised teacher with bright eyes and a calm spirit. He was grinding through early psychology training, while she offered encouragement that steadied his doubts. Their friendship quickened into love, and by 1976, they promised forever. This second marriage dug deeper roots than the first, blending private life with professional ambition. Early seasons of their story revolve around quiet nights, shared prayers, and a crystal-clear plan to build a meaningful life. Soon, 2 sons arrived. Jay became a television producer and author who later guided segments of the Dr. Phil Show. Jordan chased music dreams, playing guitar on national tours and releasing catchy singles. Both credit a household full of discipline, faith, and steady encouragement for their drive. Robin's guiding force. While Phil's profile grew, Robin stayed close, often just off camera, shaping the tone of every episode with a nod or gentle word. When Oprah welcomed Phil into American living rooms, Robin was backstage cheering. When Dr. Phil debuted in 2002, she stepped on set with quiet warmth that made the couple feel real to viewers. Her on-air visits included candid chats about staying married, raising teens, and facing wrinkles with a smile. Readers raced to buy her books Inside My Heart and What's Age Got to Do with It, which spoke plainly about self-care and identity. Champion for victims. In 2013, Robin started When Georgia Smiled, a foundation named for a mother that fights domestic violence with bold tools. The Aspire news app looks like a simple news reader, yet hides emergency hotlines one tap away for people in danger. Experts praise the innovative idea, and Dr. Phil features success stories to spread the word. Beauty Venture raises eyebrows. Robin also entered the skincare market with Robin McGraw Revelation, promoting glowing skin and inner strength side by side. Television buzz pushed sales, but critics questioned if marketing promises stretched too far. Robin stood firm, sharing customer testimonies and using the company to push her message of confidence, a family united by purpose. Robin's steady hand reaches across every McGraw media arm, blending her passions with the family vision. From holiday specials to charity drives, she brings equal parts compassion and grit. Together, Phil and Robin build an empire of advice shows, books, and live events, reinforcing the lesson that growth starts at home. Their marriage served as a living proof behind every on-screen tip about trust and teamwork. Yet behind the studio lights, questions have continued to swirl. Rumors mention an immigration raid on a business affiliate, sealed lawsuits filed by former staff, and late-night meetings with high-priced lawyers. Each rumor adds a fresh crack to the perfect glass, daring fans to ask whether even this power couple can stay unbreakable. The next revelation is said to be the loudest yet, and it could explain why Dr. Phil may have slipped off a ring millions thought would never leave his finger. Stay close, because the upcoming twist promises to jolt even the most loyal viewer. Spotlights can be blessings and burning glass at the same time. For every loud skeptic who accused Robin McGraw of riding her husband's fame, a louder wave of admirers cheered her generous heart and fierce independence. Her public image today glows with kindness and grace, powered by tireless work to lift women facing brutal emotional or physical storms. Workplace allegations rocked the set. The calm studio lights of the Dr. Phil show shattered in 2022 when BuzzFeed News dropped a blistering investigation. A dozen past and present employees painted a backstage nightmare filled with pressure, fear, and shame. They claimed senior producers barked orders, crushed morale, and turned daily tapings into a fight-or-flight sprint. According to those insiders, the climate of intimidation did not stop with the crew. Vulnerable guests, many battling serious mental health challenges, were allegedly nudged toward explosive meltdowns so cameras could capture raw drama. Staff said vital details were hidden from participants to crank up tension and ratings. Viewers who tuned in for healing gasped as rumors warned that ethics had taken a back seat to spectacle. While no outside agency confirmed the worst accusations, the story tore through media circles and ignited fierce debate about responsibility in reality programming. Dr. Phil McGraw and executive producer Carla Pennington fired back quickly, calling the claims flat-out false and insisting the workplace kept high standards. Dr. Phil maintained he had never witnessed abuse and trusted his team to act with honor. Production marched on without visible shakeups, yet the shadow of the article refused to fade. There were no court rulings, yet the allegations etched a deep line across Dr. Phil's legacy. Fans wrestled with two images, the on-screen champion for change and the alleged off-camera pressure cooker. Supporters defended his intentions. Critics saw a symptom of wider daytime TV problems, and the debate kept buzzing on podcasts and comment boards. Supporters rally around Robin. Supporters say Robin turned compassion into action, hosting charity auctions and visiting shelters with no cameras in sight. Critics point to red carpets, but admirers answer that she shows up when lights are off and real pain is on. Details that shock staff. The BuzzFeed story painted chilling scenes. One worker claimed a guest was kept awake 48 hours because raw exhaustion spikes ratings. Another said producers cheered when a distressed teen burst into tears backstage. Such stories suggested a culture where emotion was mined like gold. Guest manipulation allegations went further. Former insiders said some participants were isolated until taping, so they would step on stage confused and vulnerable. A therapist who quit warned that psychiatric safety warnings were ignored in the rush for shocking TV. Viewers wondered if the show's healing mission had lost its way. Turnabout Ranch under fire. Turnabout Ranch sits high in the Utah desert, marketed as a rustic path to self-discovery. Danielle Bregley, known to many as the rapper Bad Baby, and Hannah Archuleta shattered that postcard. They described freezing nights, forced silence, and even assault after Dr. Phil's camera stopped rolling. Their accounts question how carefully the show vetted those referrals. The ranch denied wrongdoing, and Dr. Phil's team said outside programs were beyond their control. Yet critics argued that recommending the facility carried a duty of care. Under backlash, the show stopped naming the ranch on air, a silent retreat that spoke volumes. Sponsors and watchdogs soon probed whether other recommendations met safety standards. Quiet policy tweaks followed, but the reputational dent remained. Birth of Merit Street Media. Just when critics thought they had Dr. Phil pegged, he threw another curveball in 2024 by unveiling Merit Street Media, his very own network. He promised real conversations without the filter and a fresh arena for honest debate. The launch followed the finale of his long-running talk show, signaling a pivot from private counseling to wide-open cultural discussions. Dr. Phil Primetime quickly became the network's flagship. Instead of mending marriages one couple at a time, the nightly program tackled free speech, classroom policies, and public safety with spirited panels and high-energy interviews. Supporters loved the no-nonsense tone. Detractors claimed he was courting conservative audiences under the banner of open debate. Early ratings showed older viewers leaning in while some younger fans drifted. Analysts asked if a brand built on personal empathy could survive in a louder arena of opinion. Debate about the BuzzFeed story rippled across talk shows for weeks. Some journalists argued that high-stress sets are normal in daily television, while others insisted welfare safeguards are non-negotiable. Petitions with thousands of signatures demanded deeper inquiry, showing how strongly viewers felt about the allegations. Merit Street executives defended their broader topic list as a natural extension of Dr. Phil's lifelong curiosity. They highlighted episodes on veteran homelessness, rural hospital shortages, and student debt, stressing that the platform welcomed every viewpoint. Skeptics countered that guest rosters tilted one direction too often, leaving gaps in representation. The tug-of-war over bias became part of the show's daily chatter. Industry voices are split. Some hail his leap into ownership much like other talk show legends who built their own channels. Others warn that stepping into cultural fights may strain the trust he once enjoyed. No one can say how this reinvention will play out, but the next twist is already loading. Together Robin's outreach, the backstage storm, the ranch fallout, and the media reboot prove that the Dr. Phil story is still very much alive. Messy, controversial, and impossible to ignore. A camera flashes, and suddenly the trusted TV advisor is standing inside a federal raid. In January 2025, Dr. Phil shocked viewers everywhere when he joined former IC Chief Tom Homan during a pre-dawn operation in Chicago. What began as an enforcement sweep aimed at people with prior criminal records exploded into headline fury once footage showed the talk show titan questioning detainees about status and past charges. The video raced across phones within minutes. Audiences who once watched him mediate family fights at 3 p.m. now saw him, wearing a protective vest under warehouse lights. For many, the scene felt as jarring as it was unforgettable. Voices on one side cried that his presence was inappropriate and politically driven. How could a daytime counselor turn up in the middle of such a tense mission, they asked. Ethical alarms blared because immigration enforcement touches raw nerves, and the arrival of the superstar only intensified the glare. Opponents said the moment looked like a publicity play meant to pump up Merit Street Media, his brand new network that often features tougher law and order debates. Social feeds called the visit a stunt that used human drama as a ratings prop. Rumors swirled that cameras followed him for a future episode of Dr. Phil Primetime, though no proof surfaced. Dr. Phil fired back during a late-evening webcast. He insisted his motive was journalistic curiosity and nothing more. He wanted an unfiltered view of how raids unfold, so he could share facts rather than myths. Team members claimed the trip fit a larger plan to cover topics many outlets skip or frame in extremes. Supporters cheered the effort, saying firsthand reporting beat studio chatter every time. Still, critics argued that the approach lacked empathy. Interviews inside a raid cannot capture childhood stories or economic fears, they warned. The argument cut straight to the reputation he built as a voice for healing. Could he explore national conflicts without losing the heart that made him famous? The raid marked yet another pivot in Dr. Phil's public path. Once viewed as largely neutral, he now strides into hot debates with clear confidence. Whether fans labeled the visit fearless journalism or unreined showmanship, the moment proved he is ready to stand inside storms and accept every blast that follows. Farewell to a daytime giant. 2 years earlier, the curtain fell on Dr. Phil after 21 seasons of tears, breakthroughs, and chair-gripping confrontations. Debuting in 2002 as an offshoot of Oprah appearances, the program became a daily habit for millions hungry for straight-talk therapy. When Dr. Phil McGraw announced a finale in 2023, he framed it as evolution, not exile. Official releases stressed that both he and CBS agreed the time felt right. On air, he thanked viewers for 2 decades of trust and promised new stages for future conversations. Rumor engines revved the moment credits rolled. Social networks tied the ending to whispers of toxic backstage culture, while others gossiped about hidden marital rifts. Yet no hard evidence linked the wrap-up to scandal. CBS issued no disciplinary statement, and the McGraws were photographed together at charity dinners during the final broadcast week. Fans mourned the void left in daytime lineups. For years, the show mixed headline drama with practical advice bridging psychology and pop culture in ways no rival quite matched. Yet, Dr. Phil was not easing into retirement. He signaled a pivot toward formats that fit the lightning-fast media world now dominating screens. Life after syndication. By 2025, public curiosity focused on the union that once beamed from studio couches. Dr. Phil and Rob McGraw remain legally married, and photographs from fundraising galas suggest cordial teamwork. They appear less frequently together, yet when they do, the smiles reach their eyes. Online whispers claim they drift apart because of professional shifts. Some point to Robin's lighter role within Merit Street Media and suggest the network's sharper political edge may cause friction. Others highlight simple career divergence as she expands her foundation when George has smiled and he steers nightly panels. None of those theories carry documented proof. Neither spouse has addressed the chatter directly, and no filings hint at divorce. Observers note that privacy has become their armor. In an era when celebrity couples turn breakfast into live content, the McGraws now keep shared moments out of sight. Analysts call it a smart move that shields them from nonstop speculation and gives space for growth after decades in a glare. Separate roads, same drive. Dr. Phil leans fully into media ownership. Merit Street Media and Dr. Phil Primetime push discussions that run beyond personal therapy into speech freedom, school policy, and neighborhood safety. Fans welcome the bold takes. Critics claim the tone favors one political camp, even as hosts repeat their commitment to balance panels. What is undeniable is a step from healer to cultural commentator. Robin dedicates mornings and late nights to survivors of violence. Through safety apps, training resources, and quiet lobbying, she presses for policies that guard the vulnerable. Her public appearances have fewer red carpets and more town hall chairs. Supporters love the substance over sizzle approach. Both partners still praise each other's victories when microphones catch them. However, each now carries a separate torch guided by individual passions. Their ability to navigate fame on parallel tracks without public rupture stands as testament to a foundation built across 5 decades. Legacy in motion. Together, the McGraws reshaped how mainstream viewers talk about addiction, trauma, and family strain. Their programs, books, and outreach turn complex therapy terms into plain language that millions could grasp. Ratings fade, yet the real measure is unseen. Countless people who felt heard for first time. Looking ahead, Dr. Phil hints at documentary series and extended interviews that slice deep into divisive issues. He promises raw and necessary conversation that sidesteps traditional gatekeepers. Robin is said to be pursuing new nonprofit coalitions aiming to influence domestic abuse policy on a national scale. Neither looks eager to return to daily talk television, yet both see expansive horizons, an eye on tomorrow. Nothing about their journey has stayed static. From a rural marriage in the 70s to modern digital platforms, they have morphed for the culture they once only observed. Whether tackling immigration raids or drafting safety legislation, they continue to reinvent purpose under brighter lights and sharper scrutiny. Thank you for joining this roller coaster through triumph, twists, and ongoing transformation. The next chapter is already loading, and history shows these two rarely write quiet pages.